The baby was crying, not because he was hungry, not because he was sick, but because two women stood before the throne of Israel, each claiming to be his mother. The royal court had fallen silent. The elders could not solve it. The witnesses were non-existent. There were no written records. No midwives had come forward. No neighbors could testify. No evidence existed. One child was dead. One child was alive. And two desperate mothers were willing to fight for the same infant. Then came the words that stunned everyone present. "Bring me a sword," the command echoed through the hall. A soldier hurried forward. The blade flashed beneath the light. King Solomon looked at the child. Then he looked at the women. His next order would become one of the most famous judgments in human history. Cut the living child in two. Give half to one woman and half to the other. For a moment, the room froze. Had Israel's king gone mad? Was this justice? Was this cruelty? Or was something far deeper unfolding before their eyes? For nearly 3,000 years, this case has fascinated believers, historians, legal scholars, archaeologists, judges, and philosophers. It is one of the shortest stories in the Bible, yet it may be one of the most powerful demonstrations of wisdom ever recorded. But to understand why this moment shocked an entire nation, we must first travel back to the world of ancient Israel. A kingdom rising from uncertainty, a young king sitting on a dangerous throne, and a nation wondering whether its new ruler possessed the wisdom necessary to survive. The story appears in the Book of Kings, specifically 1 Kings chapter 3. The events occurred during the early reign of Solomon, the son of King David. By the time this case reached the court, Solomon had not yet built the temple that would make Jerusalem famous. He was still relatively young. The kingdom was still fragile, and many people questioned whether he deserved the crown. To modern readers, Solomon often appears as an established ruler, but that was not the situation when this judgment took place. His father, David, had united the tribes of Israel through decades of warfare, political struggles, and military victories. Yet David's final years were marked by family conflict. Several sons had competed for power. When David grew old, the succession crisis intensified. One of David's sons, Adonijah, attempted to seize the throne. David's supporters rushed to secure Solomon's coronation before rival factions could act. The transfer of power was anything but peaceful. Solomon inherited not only a throne, but also enormous pressure. The people and the nobles wanted proof of his leadership. These questions formed the backdrop to the famous case of the two mothers. To understand it, we must understand the geography. Israel occupied a strategic position. To the southwest stood Egypt. To the northeast lay the powerful states of Mesopotamia. Jerusalem sat among the hills of Judah. It was becoming the political and spiritual center of the kingdom. In the ancient world, kings often acted as judges. People brought disputes directly to the ruler. Justice was a central part of royal legitimacy. A king who could not judge fairly risked losing public trust. Before this case, Solomon experienced a defining event. He traveled to Gibeon, a major religious site. There, during the night, he experienced a dream. God offered him an extraordinary opportunity to ask for whatever he desired. Solomon asked for wisdom, specifically the ability to judge the people correctly and discern between right and wrong. The case of the two mothers immediately follows this request. The story is a demonstration of that divine wisdom. The details begin simply. 2 women appeared. The biblical text identifies them as prostitutes. Women in such circumstances occupied a vulnerable position. Yet Solomon grants them direct access to the royal court. The first woman explains they lived in the same house. Each had recently given birth. No one else was present. Then tragedy struck. During the night, the second woman's child died. She allegedly exchanged the babies while the first mother slept. Morning arrived. The first mother realized the infant beside her was dead, but it was not her child. Immediately, a fierce argument erupted. The living child is mine. The dead child is yours. No witnesses existed. No forensic science. No physical evidence survived. The case appeared impossible. The courtroom had become a battlefield. Not a battlefield of swords. Not a battlefield of armies. But a battlefield of words. 2 women stood before the king. 1 living child sat at the center of the dispute. 1 dead child lay at the heart of the tragedy. And neither side was willing to surrender. The first woman insisted that the second woman had switched the babies during the night. The second woman denied the accusation completely. Every statement was answered with another denial. Every claim met an opposing claim. The case had reached a dead end. Imagine yourself inside that courtroom. You are a member of Solomon's royal administration. You have heard both testimonies and listened carefully. You want justice, but what can you do? There are no witnesses, no physical proof, no confession, no evidence pointing clearly toward either woman. From a legal perspective, the situation was almost impossible. The problem facing Solomon was not unusual. In many ancient societies, courts relied heavily on eyewitness testimony. Without witnesses, establishing truth was extraordinarily difficult. Ancient Mesopotamian law codes reveal attempts to solve such dilemmas. Among the most famous is the Code of Hammurabi, created centuries before Solomon. The Babylonians sometimes turned to ordeal procedures. A person might undergo a dangerous test. Survival was interpreted as evidence of innocence. Israel's legal tradition generally followed a different path. The Hebrew Scriptures emphasized witness testimony and careful investigation as described in the book of Deuteronomy. But what happens when there are no witnesses at all? That was the dilemma confronting Solomon as he sat upon the throne. Both women sounded convincing. Both were emotional. Both claimed motherhood. Both wanted the child. And only one could be telling the truth. The biblical account records the king listening carefully, then summarizing the dispute. One woman says the living child is hers. The other says the same. The facts were clear, the truth was not. At this moment, the entire kingdom was effectively watching. Whatever Solomon decided would influence public confidence. A wise judgment could strengthen the throne. This was a test of leadership itself. The king was not merely listening. He was studying people. Ancient rulers needed insight into the human heart. This theme appears throughout ancient wisdom literature. The ability to discern motives was the highest wisdom. The dispute was not really about legal arguments. It was about love. The true mother would possess something the other could never imitate. Before we reach that moment, consider the context. Solomon governed during a period of relative peace, trade expansion, and international connections. One of the most famous alliances involved Egypt. The text reports that Solomon entered into a diplomatic marriage with an Egyptian princess. Archaeology has revealed evidence of growing state organization during the Iron Age Levant. Large building projects indicate increasing political complexity. Solomon's wisdom attracted international attention. The Queen of Sheba traveled a great distance, specifically to test him with hard questions. The judgment contains no supernatural spectacle. Everything unfolds through human psychology. The king's wisdom manifests through understanding people. As the argument continued, the atmosphere became increasingly tense. Then Solomon made an unexpected request that transformed the proceeding. The king ordered that a sword be brought into the courtroom. Confusion spread. This was a custody dispute, not a military matter. A soldier brought the weapon. The blade gleamed in the light. Every eye turned toward the throne as the king issued a horrifying order. Divide the living child in two. Give half to one woman and half to the other. For a brief moment, time itself seemed to stop. The command appeared monstrous. And that was exactly the point. Because what happened next would reveal the truth no witness could provide. The impossible case was about to reach its decisive moment. The sword was ready. The command had been given. And for a few terrifying seconds, nobody moved. The royal court sat in stunned silence. Officials exchanged nervous glances. Soldiers hesitated. Even the arguments had stopped. Moments earlier, the two women had been shouting over one another, each insisting that the living child belonged to her. Now neither spoke. They were staring at the king, and perhaps wondering whether the young ruler on David's throne had completely lost his mind. The order sounded horrifying. Divide the living child in two. There was no room for misunderstanding. The command was simple, brutal, final. If carried out, neither woman would leave with a living son. Both would receive half a child. Justice, it seemed, had become destruction. But Solomon was not looking at the sword. He was looking at the women. Every movement, every expression, every reaction. The king was waiting for something that no witness could provide, waiting for something hidden beneath words, waiting for the truth to reveal itself. Then it happened. One woman broke. Her compassion for the child overwhelmed her. Her heart was moved deeply. She could not bear what she believed was about to happen. Suddenly she cried out to the king, "Give the child to the other woman. Let her have him. Just do not kill him." The words burst from her with urgency, desperation, fear. She was willing to lose the child completely, if that was the only way to save his life. At that moment, her claim appeared to collapse. Across the courtroom stood the second woman, and her response could not have been more different. She showed no concern for the child's survival, no panic, no desperate plea. Instead, she accepted Solomon's proposal, cut him in two. Let neither side win. If she could not possess the child, then neither could her rival. And with those words, the entire case changed. In an instant, Solomon had his answer. No further investigation was necessary. No witnesses needed to appear. The king immediately delivered his verdict. Give the living child to the first woman. Do not kill him. She is his mother. Just like that, the impossible case was solved. Not through physical evidence, but through understanding the deepest instincts of the human heart. The true mother revealed herself by choosing the child's life. The false claimant revealed herself by choosing victory over survival. Solomon's shocking command was a carefully constructed trap designed to expose genuine love. The genius of the judgment lies in its simplicity. When faced with the prospect of death, pretense became impossible. Character, love, and truth emerged. The story ends quickly, yet its impact was enormous. All Israel heard about the judgment. The people were amazed and recognized wisdom in their king. Not merely intelligence, but wisdom. A clever person solves problems. A wise person understands people. Solomon had demonstrated something extraordinary. News spread throughout the kingdom. Families told the story around evening fires. The young king suddenly possessed something far more valuable than political authority. He possessed public confidence. People believed he could judge fairly. In the ancient world, that belief was priceless, establishing his legitimacy as a ruler. Over the centuries, it became one of the most famous legal decisions recorded. Its reach extended to Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions, even modern legal theory. Even today, the phrase Solomonic judgment describes a wise solution to a difficult dispute. The story endures because its emotions belong to all humanity. Historians debate the literal history, but ancient authors preserve such incidents to reveal truths about leadership. Solomon's judgment illustrated his greatest quality, wisdom. Archaeology confirms that kings in the ancient Near East consistently portrayed themselves as guardians of justice to establish their royal authority. The story also contains fascinating psychological insights. Solomon shifted the focus from what the women said to what they valued most. Priorities are harder to hide. Crisis exposes character. Stress reveals motives. But there is another layer to the narrative, a darker layer regarding how wisdom can be lost. The king who amazed the nation would eventually face challenges of power, wealth, and personal choices. The man who read hearts would struggle with his own. Before we explore that tragedy, we must first examine the extraordinary archaeology surrounding Solomon's kingdom. The judgment of the two mothers made Solomon famous. But fame is not evidence. A story can be remembered for thousands of years and still leave historians asking difficult questions. Who was Solomon really? How powerful was his kingdom? How much of the biblical account can archaeology confirm? These questions have fueled intense debates for decades. To understand why, we must leave the courtroom and step into the dusty ruins of the ancient Near East. For generations, archaeologists have searched for traces of Solomon's reign, focusing on the enormous achievements attributed to him. The construction of the temple, royal palaces, administrative centers, and fortified cities across the land. According to the biblical account, Solomon presided over one of the most prosperous periods in Israel's history. If true, evidence should remain. The challenge is that archaeology rarely provides simple answers. Ancient buildings collapse, and layers of occupation accumulate over centuries. One of the most important sites is the ancient city of Megiddo, where archaeologists pointed to impressive gates as evidence of Solomonic construction. Similar findings appeared at Hazor and Gezer. The Bible specifically mentions these cities as important during Solomon's reign. Another piece of evidence is the Tel Dan Stele, which appears to reference the house of David centuries after his time. This discovery provided evidence that David was remembered as a historical founder, which strengthens the historical framework for Solomon. Then there is Jerusalem itself, the city where the famous judgment occurred. It presents unique challenges because it has been continuously inhabited. The city was becoming a center of power, and it was within that center that Solomon's reputation for wisdom flourished. Throughout the ancient Near East, rulers sought to present themselves as wise judges, emphasizing justice as much as military victory. This helps explain why the story of the two mothers became so important. It symbolized everything a king was supposed to be. The women in the story possessed little social power, yet they gained access to the highest authority in the land. A king who governed fairly brought stability. The biblical narrative highlights a case involving individuals from the margins of society. The message is clear. True justice must be available to everyone, not only to the wealthy or influential. Solomon's judgment became one of the clearest illustrations of these values. But archaeology and history cannot answer every question. Ancient authors were not writing modern history books. They selected events that communicated larger truths about leadership and justice. The author does not waste words. Every detail, the dead child, the living child, the sword drives the story toward its revelation. Wisdom can uncover truth when ordinary methods fail. That message resonated deeply with ancient audiences and continues to today. Human beings still face situations where evidence is not enough. We struggle to distinguish appearance from reality. The story of Solomon offers a powerful example of wisdom operating under pressure, surviving when other cases disappeared into history, because the judgment was never just about law. It was about human nature, sacrifice, and the revealing power of crisis. The courtroom was no longer just a place of judgment. It had become a mirror that reflected what the human heart truly is when stripped of pride, argument, and noise. The sword had already been ordered. The silence had already fallen. And in that silence, something deeper than law was being revealed. Not evidence, not testimony, but love under pressure. The kind of love that does not announce itself. The kind that does not argue to win. The kind that would rather lose everything than watch a child die. When the first woman cried out for the child's life, something ancient stirred in the courtroom. She did not negotiate. She did not bargain. She did not try to protect her claim anymore. She surrendered it. "Give her the child," she said. "Just don't kill him." That sentence carries more weight than it first appears. In the ancient world, motherhood was identity, security, survival, and future hope. To give up a child meant to give up everything attached to him. Yet she chose life over possession. That choice is where Solomon's wisdom truly lands. Because truth, in this case, was not hidden in documents. It was hidden in sacrifice. The second woman revealed something else entirely. She did not respond with grief for the child. She did not plead for mercy. She did not show hesitation. Instead, she accepted destruction as long as ownership was shared in ruin. "If I cannot have him, neither shall you." That response is chilling when examined closely. It shifts the dispute from motherhood to control, from love to dominance, from care to possession. And that shift is exactly what Solomon exposed. This is where the story leaves the courtroom and enters the human soul, because what Solomon did was not merely legal strategy. It was psychological exposure. He removed every surface layer until only intention remained. Modern psychologists might describe this as a forced choice moral test, a situation designed so that real priorities are revealed under emotional pressure. In today's language, it resembles behavioral truth assessment, but Solomon did it without instruments or interrogation, only with a command. That is why the story has never faded. Words can lie, tone can deceive, But when something precious is threatened, the truth rises. Egyptian teachings and Mesopotamian proverbs warned that character is revealed in crisis. Israel's wisdom tradition placed similar weight on testing the heart. The case before Solomon suggests that justice is not only about what people say, it is about what they are willing to lose. Was Solomon's method morally justifiable? Modern readers are divided. Wisdom can sometimes look like severity before it reveals mercy. The biblical narrative frames it as wisdom. The sword was a symbolic instrument, not an execution order. Yet symbolism carries emotional weight. Outside, life in ancient Israel continued. Families depended on stable rulings. The king's reputation shaped public confidence in justice itself. A child, two claims, one irreversible truth, and a mother who chose surrender over loss. Real love is not proven by possession. It is proven by protection, even at personal cost, even at surrender. The judgment revealed Solomon himself, a king capable of reading what others could not see. History does not stop here. The same king would later face decisions far more complex, decisions that would test not only his intelligence, but his restraint. The courtroom is quiet now. The sword has been lowered. The child has been returned to his mother. The case that once seemed impossible has ended in a single sentence of judgment. And yet, what remains behind is heavier than the dispute itself, because every great moment in history leaves an echo. The biblical text says the people feared the king when they heard the decision. Not fear as terror, but awe. Confidence was born. Trust that wisdom could guide the nation. Trust that the king was not blind to truth. In the ancient world, that kind of trust was not symbolic. It was political survival. A kingdom held together by belief in justice. This case becomes more than a story about two women. It becomes a foundation stone in the image of Solomon's rule. Solomon's reign expands into wealth, diplomacy, and architecture. Trade routes stretch, and gold accumulates across the ancient Near East. Yet, alongside that expansion, something begins to shift. Power grows, complexity increases. Simplicity becomes harder to maintain. Archaeology shows us the world of rising kingdoms in the Iron Age Levant, where centralized power was still developing. Kings were constantly tested, not only in judgment, but in restraint. Wisdom is shown in sustaining clarity under pressure. Later narratives suggest Solomon's reign became entangled with political alliances and foreign influences. Even the wisest ruler is still human. The judgment of the two mothers stands at the beginning like a bright flame, clear, focused, undeniable. Can wisdom remain steady when circumstances expand? Can clarity survive prosperity? These are questions about leadership in every age. Historians debate the scale of Solomon's kingdom. Archaeological evidence from sites like Megiddo and Hazor continues to fuel discussion. The name Solomon has become symbolic. It represents a standard of discernment, a shorthand for wise resolution in impossible situations. But the most important legacy is human, a child's life hanging in uncertainty, two competing claims, truth revealed through sacrifice. Love is not proven by words alone. It is proven by willingness to lose. Solomon revealed that wisdom sometimes requires creating the conditions where truth can no longer hide. The child lives. The mother is restored. What makes this the most impossible case? not a lack of evidence, but a lack of certainty. Justice is not only about deciding who is right, it is about uncovering what is real. The judgment of Solomon does not fade. It continues to stand, a quiet reminder from the ancient world that wisdom still has a voice. The throne of Solomon stands still in memory, like a carved stone under ancient sun, unchanged by time, yet constantly questioned by it. One thing refuses to disappear: the image of wisdom cutting through confusion like light through darkness. If you followed this narrative to the end, take a moment and share where you are watching from. Until the next story,